anyone unfamiliar, Extreme are an excellent hard rock band peaking in the late 80s, early 90s. It's really when they had the height of their fame. Their biggest hit is that love song from the 90s, More Than Words, which is an amazingly written song.
More than words is all you have.
But in the pantheon of legendary, world-changing, holy crap, how do they play that guitarists, Nuno Bettencourt gets overlooked a lot. Nuno Bettencourt is ridiculously good. There are a lot of legendary status guitarists that I feel like they've kind of lost their innovation, or you don't really quite get the same spark you used to anymore. In this, I would say Nuno hasn't lost it. But enough of this crap, let's get into it. So we got a na-na, pentatonic, minor third to tonic, na-na-na-na, which is a sharp 4. In my opinion, this is the weakest part of the song. It's not bad, but it's probably the least fresh out of all of it. Okay, before we get into the vocals, holy crap, I cannot stand this mix. Guys, we're about to talk about a lot of things that I think they did excellently in this song. We're gonna get there. Who decided on this mix? Wow. Let's rewind it a little bit. Like, it almost feels like there's phasing issues with the drums because of how it's mixed, but I think that's just because the EQ curves and the compression are really not where they should be. A friend of mine who will go unnamed, who does mixing for a living, said that this obviously sounded like they mixed with the volume exceedingly loud, like an asshole. A lot of times in mixing, especially for more extreme genres like hard rock, metal, modern pop, you over-embellish certain characteristics of different timbres in order to make them feel more exciting or give them a slightly different flavor that's more satisfying, for lack of a better term. Like, they definitely embellished the low end of the kick, but they made it like a brick wall, thumpy and not fun, and any of the top is evaporated from a bunch of this stuff. It just sounds so not fun. All right, let's get back to it. Gary Cherone has a good voice. On this one, I think his age is showing. Considering he's 56 years old, he sounds great. He sounds excellent. But he definitely has lost some of it since his younger, more prime years. And that's just going to happen with lots of use. I mean, even if you don't overuse, just drinking and smoking over time is going to wear on your vocal cords. So far, I dig the hook, though. I get what he's going for. I mean, it's not the freshest thing, I will say. But like, it's got me. I'm in. Adding the harmony on top is a great touch. Level of tension escalation. Okay, little things like that. Nuno is an outstanding guitarist, yes, but he also has such good intuition and taste. All of the fills that he does as kind of like a turnaround, or you can think of it as a cap to each section of the verse, is really, really well chosen and really well executed. Like, I don't care how much times change and people's tastes do, that's never not gonna be hip. There's something, in my opinion, universally kick-ass about that sound. Okay, so lyrically, whatever. It seems a little cliche. I would say the musicality of the lyrics chosen is good, but it does seem like we've kind of been here before, lyrically speaking. Setting the lyrics aside, I really, really like the hooks. The trade-off between the backing vocals doing the that's a great and somewhat more modern hook in and of itself. And with him going straight to the top, like way up there, feels nice. Even with all the critiques I've given thus far, it still manages to, against my will, play itself back in my head. That, to me, says they did something intuitively correct. All right. So it's not like the most legendary chorus, but I think it's a good one. It makes me want to listen to it again, even with, again, the cliches. And they have that really dark Phrygian riff, sitting on the E flat, doing the thing, then go into flat 6, but then when they go to the 4, they keep that flat 9 working through color-wise, which gives it this extra spice, in my opinion. I really like that. There's something really dark and mean about that riff. Let's just listen to that riff again. Simple and effective. Nothing crazier over the top. If the top line didn't work extremely well and have a great hook to it, that would be a pretty bland instrumentation. But considering that the instruments are serving the top line, it works great. You still get all the energy you need out of it. There's enough of an implied melody or voice leading, if you want to think about it either way like that. And it still has that wide open bigness. Even against the crappy mix, it still has a wide open bigness. That to me says they knew how to arrange and they knew how to pace with their dynamics and the tension and release. All right. So basically, verse, chorus are essentially the same for the most part, except Nuno does a bunch more sick fills. Let's move on to the solo. The whoa is such a friggin' 2010s pop line. Like, I'm not saying that that's bad or anything. It's just like, to me, there's a lot of signaling in here that they want to stay fresh and stay somewhat current, but also not betray their sound of who they inherently are. I think this did a good job of trying to blend those together. I think it works, especially since they've dabbled quite a bit in a more accessible sound for the times that they were in, You want an easy songwriting trick that's very effective? You have the simple 2-note phrase, na-na, and then call back on the guitar with octaves on the guitar, which is different from the power chords or single notes that you've been playing before, especially if you bring it up in register. You're gonna get a timbre change between making it octaves and coming up into a different register of that fretboard. So you're already calling attention to the fact that the guitar is doing something significantly different than it's been doing for most of the song. And we also have a significant change in the structure of the song at the bridge here. So it extra calls attention to like vocal, guitar. They become more closely associated, almost like it's preparing you to focus on the guitar because the guitar solo is coming up. I don't even know if they intended to do that, but that's what happened. Great stuff. Gotta love this beautifully blatant Eddie Van Halen worship. I love it. It's one thing to be like, oh, I'm trying to be Eddie Van Halen. It's another thing to be like, yeah, I like Eddie Van Halen. You're gonna love Eddie Van Halen too. What a bizarre tone. I don't mean that in a bad way for the record. It's like it's super saturated. I'm really curious as to how he achieves that. Obviously, partly it's getting some high output pickups. Like it seems like there's some really interesting compression going on there. Mean bends. Very, very, very mean. And then he throws in the little lick at the end. But it's a tasteful, actually, like, you could hum it back intuitively type of lick if you could hum that fast. Did I just hear clipping? Oh, ooh. I don't know what that was. I heard the little can't leave that in. Okay, I know Nuno's a badass. I haven't followed him exceedingly closely like a bunch of other people have. Is this something he normally does? Because this is a holy shit. Love this. He's doing this really interesting phrasing, kind of trading between something that feels like an arpeggio and some of it is scalar in there as well. And he's, I think, using a delay. I'm not 100% sure. And there you can hear it almost filtering with a certain kind of distortion or a certain kind of filter. It's really, really interesting. I love the hell out of it. I mean, the phrasing in and of itself is cool, but the way that he plays with the timbre throughout this section is so freaking cool. Like, it really matches the phrasing very well. And then bringing the backing vocals in, great touch. I'm gonna have to ask Ben Eller how he does that, because that is nasty. I love every moment of the ending of that solo. I mean, the performance is awesome. The phrasing is great. It's got a cool attitude. I love the play with the timbre and that weird filter thing going on. That, to me, in comparison to other people that are considered guitar legends or metal legends of the past, that still feels like he's 18 and he wants all of it, you know, Queen, I want it all, you know, that shit. He's got that fire, and damn, was that awesome. I mean, obviously the best part of the song, and the song still has a solid, good chorus. So if I had to give this a Song Suggestion Friday rating, I would give it an equal sign. But I would also give this... There's some serious big PP energy with that solo, for sure. And it's a solid chorus. Even though you can tell these guys are getting older, well, okay, except for Nuno. Nuno is just perpetually ageless somehow. As opposed to a different band that I reacted to that will go nameless. These guys don't sound like they gave up. I mean, it sounds like they're older, which is fine. I mean, that just happens. But you can still hear them trying and like wanting to make music of consequence, not just cash in a paycheck. This doesn't feel like a paycheck to me. Anyway, those are my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Check out my band. We have a podcast, the Awful Music Podcast, where we go into much greater detail about, well, the stuff that makes music important, and with guests who have credentials that put me to shame. Anyway, word, stay amazing, take it easy.